Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the class this evening, the course this evening. I'm happy to be here and I will be spending the next 2 hours with you. And I certainly hope that you are a bit more enlightened at the end of the 2 hours on the aspects of nutritional marketing and how you can apply it to your own business. What you are going to expect really is information about mediums of nutritional marketing, methods of nutritional marketing, marketing trends to consider. We are going to look at labeling as it relates to nutritional marketing, as well as learning how to use social media and blogging and websites. We're going to touch on all of these subjects so that you can use nutritional information to promote your products and your produce, whatever you sell. So I hope that you're going to enjoy it. I'm going to try to make it as interesting as possible. And of course, I welcome all of your questions. And if you want anything clarified, feel free. Please ensure that you have your pens and your paper because you will be given an assignment at the end. So you want to be able to record. And at the next session, you are going to be given an assessment. So you want to ensure that you have all of your principles written down, all of your marketing trends, all of your effective nutrition marketing strategies. We are going to recap and break everything down so it is easily understandable. So I hope you are ready to learn.
Thank you, Sam. So should we start with the icebreaker?
Yes, we should. Yes, that is a good way to start, and maybe a few more persons can join in.
Okay, Joyce, your microphone is
Don't
on.
forget to mute your mics, please. Mute the mics, because we're hearing you.
Yeah, so just a reminder, please ensure your mics are muted when joining and put in your full name so that I can take the assessment.
I thought my mic showed muted.
That's okay, Joyce.
Okay, so we're going to do a little icebreaker activity. I'm just waiting for her to put it up on the screen. It's a little getting to know you. I mean, some of you may know each other. I don't know you and you don't know me. So this is a good time for us to get acquainted. So we're just gonna wait for the instructions.
Can you all see my screen? Oh.
Yes, we can see it now. Okay, thank you so much. All right, so the activity is actually about interesting facts about yourself. You know, there are many ways to get to know a person without necessarily asking them, tell me more about yourself. So what you are going to do is you're going to make an acronym of your name. And there's an example right here on the screen for the name Heather, which says, hi, I'm Heather. H is for horses, my favorite animal. E is for eating, my fave activity. A for Australia, the country I am traveling to during the summer. T is for television because I like to watch it on evenings. H is for holidays, something I like to do more than once a year. E is for exercise, which I do 5 times a week. And R is for Rome, a city on my bucket list, which I would like to visit one day. So as you can see, we've learned a lot about Heather by reading her interpretations of the acronyms, that is the interpretation of the letters in her name, her first name. So I would like you to take a few minutes. Let's give everyone 5 minutes. Who is it, Hester, that's running the slides?
No, it's Linnell.
Oh, Linnell. Okay, Linnell. So Linnell, just count down for me, please. We're going to give them 5 minutes and they're going to prepare the acronyms and then everybody's going to tell us what their acronyms are.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you, Linnell.
Okay, so our 5 minutes are up.
Okay, so if our 5 minutes are up, we can start. So who wants to go first? Just show your hands and then we will call you out and you can tell us what is your acronym. Who's gonna go first? Okay, great. I see Carol. Go ahead, Carol.
Right. Hi, my name is Carol. I have here C is for country, which I put above self. That's the pledge for St. is country above self. I like to volunteer. A is for agriculture. I've always been involved some shape and form of my life. I used to do agronomy. I was for roosters. One used to torment me and wake me up early, so not my favorite. O is for office jobs. I hate being in an office. It makes me feel like I'm trapped. And L is for life. I like to give thanks.
Thank you, Carol. Thanks for sharing. Who's the next person? Come on, guys, who's next? We're gonna have to call out if persons don't volunteer. All right, so we have Irania.
Hi, good night. It's Irania.
Irania, okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, Irania.
I use my my second name, Nicole, which is the name I use, but Irania is my first name. So that's what I spell out.
Okay.
Yeah. N is for nights, so I can lay in my bed and rest. I is for ice cream, which is my favorite guilty pleasure. C is for conflict resolution, as I like to get things out in the open. O is for open, always open to learn and grow. L is for laughter, as I'm very easily entertained. And E is for Easter, as it is my favorite holiday.
Thank you so much, Irania, right? Irania. Irania, thank you for sharing. Who's next?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
This is Joyce.
Hi, Joyce.
Yes, my name is difficult to find good acronyms, but I try. Joyce, Joyce. J is for jovial, as I am so friendly, good-natured, everything, I assume. O is for open, because I'm always open for opportunities. Y is for youthfulness, that I always tend to exude. C is for cheerful, because I believe in cheering up people and keeping myself cheerful. And E is for energetic, because I'm always hyped most times. Well, almost always hyped about life.
Okay. Thanks for sharing, Joyce. Interesting interpretation. You did say in the beginning that it was difficult to find good words for you, but I find you did really well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, who's next? Come on, guys, let's speed it up. Let's get to know each other better. Who's next? I may have to call somebody. I see Ermileta on my screen. I'm gonna have to start calling out names. Is Ermileta there? I don't know if I'm saying your name correctly. You can always correct me.
Yes, Ermileta.
Ermileta.
E, eager for education. R, radiant. M, majestic.
Nice.
I, an island person. L, loud. E, efficacious. T, thoughtful. And A, adventurous.
Thank you, Ermileta. Very nice.
Ermileta.
Say it again. Say it again.
Ermileta.
Oh, Ermileta. Okay, got
That's
you.
right.
Just like Carmelita, Ermileta. All right, got you. All right.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, so we have Linez. Linez, can you tell us? Linez Freeman.
Good evening, good evening. I'm actually just trying to, I am currently eating, so I have done a few. because I'm trying to. So let me start with L. Listen and learn. I'm very interested in this topic. So that would be the first one for me. We could say E, to educate people on eating better, knowing how to live longer. S for sugar. Could also be we need to have less of that because that's what's keeping the fat on us. S, another one for salt, because that's what's causing us a lot of health issues. And I think my name is very long, so I'm going to finish my dinner and enjoy education. I'm ready to hear and learn some things that you have to tell us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Linez. And let's hear next from Velmarie.
Good evening, Velmarie.
Velmarie, good evening.
V is for versatile. E is for exercise, my antidepressant. L is for lemonade, my favorite drink. M is for mangoes, Nevis ones especially. A is for Africa, I hope to migrate one day. R is for rain, it helps me to sleep better. I is for ice, I love to eat it. E is for exploring St. Kitts, an activity I love to do.
Thank you, Velmarie. Thank you. And I see another name I'm going to call out. I think it's Jidetha or Jidetha. You could clarify the pronunciation if I said it incorrectly.
Good evening, everyone. It's
Good
Jidetha.
evening. Jidetha, thank you.
Yes, good evening. J is for Jidetha. I is for being intuitive, but I think I am. D is for do not do much. E is for being easygoing. T is for the trees that I love so much. H is for happy, everyone is happy. And A is for being astute, which is what I consider myself to be.
Thank you.
Most welcome.
What about, I think it's, I'm looking at the screen, I think it's Carice. Carice? What about Carice?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Carice.
I am Keris. I have a for all for my name because it's quite long. I have a few. Okay, K is for kindness because I'm very thoughtful. A is for affectionate because I believe in showing love. And E is for easygoing because that's my nature. And R is for respectful because that's all I know in order to be respected. And that's it so long. Thanks.
Thank you, Carice. Thank you. Okay, let's take a few more persons. Any volunteers so we can move on? I'm seeing Anthea.
I'm here if Anthea is not ready.
Okay. All right.
Louise has her hands up as well.
Okay, Louise, go ahead.
It's Tishari, not Louise.
Tishari. Oh, yes, Tishari. Go ahead, Tishari.
Yes, T is for traveling, which I absolutely love. E is for embracing whatever life throws at me. S is for sweets that I often overindulge in. M is for humor that feeds my soul. A is for airplane, since I love to travel. R is for the romance that I long for. And I is for independent.
Lovely. Thank you, Tishari. Okay, who's up next?
Hi, good evening.
Hello, Anthea.
Hi, good evening. Okay, A is for agriculture, which I love doing. N is for nature, where I love to be. T is for travel, which I sometimes do. H is for happy, which I try to be all the time. A is for exercise, that I need to do some more of. And A is for animal, that I love.
Thank you. I see Jackie's hand up. Go ahead, Jackie.
Good evening. J is for Jacqueline, the name I was given at birth. A is for the ability given to me by God to succeed above all odds. C is for creativity, which I try to include in everything I do. K for the knowledge that I'm always seeking. I, intuition, on which I rely for guidance. And E is for exercise, like others that I include on my weekly agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Who do we have next?
Hi, this is Ruth.
Hi, Ruth.
Hi. I like to think my R is for rooted. I try to be rooted in nature. I think it's very important wherever we go to stay rooted. U, understanding. Again, really think it's important to seek an understanding of people, while we're talking to them, see where they're coming from. T is to try. I like to try. I think I'm a trier. H is for health. Without health, health is the most important thing for us. So.
Thank you, Ruth. I saw a hand earlier on, but I didn't quite see the name. Who was it? Okay, is that all for this evening? Would anyone else like to go? We can move on from here. All right. Well, I'm going to share mine before we move to the meat of the matter, which is the nutritional marketing presentation. My name is Sam, and S is for so many things, but tonight I'm going to say it's for sweet and sassy because I think I'm both. I think I can be sassy, and I think I'm also sweet. A is for agave because I am a health enthusiast and a health coach, and I use agave as a sweetener instead of sugar. So I prefer agave. It has a low glycemic index. It's healthier. So I use agave. And M is for mushrooms because mushrooms is actually one of my favorite foods, which I eat almost every day. And I feel as if I can't do without mushrooms. So these are my acronyms. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing, ladies. I enjoyed listening to your interpretation of yourself, your personality, and your life through those acronyms. Indeed, it was quite insightful because it gave me a little, insight into who you are, what you value, and what you're about. So thank you so much for participating. So now we are going to move into the presentation. Linel, you could pull up the first slide. And Linel, you can get the first video queued as well. It's I'm going to do the video after we, just talk a little bit about nutritional marketing. So ladies, I need you to talk again a little bit more because before we go into the presentation and view the video, I want to get feedback from you as to your interpretation of nutritional marketing. Just some thoughts from a few of you. When you hear the word nutritional and then you hear marketing and we combine it into a statement, nutritional marketing, what comes to mind? What thoughts do you have? What are the predominant thoughts in your head when you hear nutritional marketing? Share with me, please.
What comes to my mind when I hear nutritional marketing is using the nutritional value or values in a product to market that product.
Very good. Thank you, Joyce. Next person.
That's the Shafari.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Okay, for me, nutritional marketing, when I hear that term, I think about similar to what Tishari would have said. What is in the foods that I'm going to be consuming and the way it is marketed to me, how it is sold to me as a consumer. That's my
Lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I see Jackie's hand. Go ahead, Jackie.
I think that it refers to the promotion of healthy products within the market for consumption.
Okay. All right. Next person.
I see nutritional marketing.
Okay, somebody needs to mute their mic. I'm not sure who, but don't forget to keep the mics on mute. Sorry about that, Juliet. Go ahead.
Okay. I see nutritional marketing as
the long-term health benefits and the way it will benefit everyone and how it is marketed from the person that's purchasing it.
Thank you. All right, I want to hear from somebody else.
For me, I would say it's like protein, fat, sugar content, calories, the kind of nutritional labeling. Marketing, perhaps I can see that you put a spin on it to assist with sales.
Okay, thank you so much, Ruth. All right, I think that's it so far for the contributions. Okay, so let's move on. Everyone was actually correct. Everything that you said related to nutritional marketing in one way or another. And we're going to get to that further down in the presentation. Now, if you look at the first slide, which is up on the screen right now, it is a quote from Mr. John Webb, who is the Director of Genetics and Science at Maple Leaf Foods. And his quote says, "We fail in our competitive position if we do not include health." And I want you to ponder on this as you watch the video, which is going to start the presentation. Just think about his words. We fail in our competitive position if we do not include health. So as you ponder on this, I would like Linnell to pull up the first video. And Linnell, that would be the one about whole foods. Yeah, we believe in whole foods. That's the first one.
At Whole Foods Market, we believe in food that's naturally beautiful and fresh, delicious and At Whole Foods Market, we believe in food that's naturally beautiful and fresh, delicious and powerful, and full of nutrients. Food that makes us nourished and mighty, and connects us to the natural world. So there are no artificial colors, no artificial flavors, no artificial preservatives in any of the food we sell. We believe in real food. Whole Foods Market.
Thank you, Linnell. Okay, so I would just like to ask the group, let me just open up, okay. All right, so I just want three persons to tell me when they watch the video, having listened to your colleagues, other participants, sorry, haven't listened to them say what their thoughts are on nutritional marketing, remembering the quote from Mr. John Webb that we fail in our competitive advantage if we do not include health, and now watching the video, what comes to mind? What did you think when you saw this video? What did it evoke inside of you mentally? What were your thoughts?
Feel good, energized, happy. I mean, there's some big claims. Well, kind of.
Okay. Anyone else? 2 more contributions. Thank you, Ruth.
Actually, it makes me want to go out and buy the product.
Very good, Joyce. Yes. Good. Very good. Next person. One more person. Tell me what you thought of, what came to mind, what emotions the video evoked in you. What did you think of when you saw that video? Go ahead, Deborah.
I wanted to know if those products are here for us too.
Okay, very nice. Thank you, ladies, for your contributions. And I'm happy to hear that because it shows you the power of marketing. And the nutritional slant there was that they use certain keywords to describe their food. It's natural, no preservatives, and showed you images of a happy family eating, sitting at a table, snippets from the farm to show you that it comes from the earth. It's very natural. And you got all those nice warm feelings in your stomach and you were like, I need to go and buy some Whole Foods. There should be a Whole Foods and St kits, you know? So this is what marketing and nutritional marketing is all about. So let's go to slide number 2 and let's get into the meat of it. So remember what Mr. John Webb said. He said, we fail in our competitive advantage if we don't include health. Yeah, I'm just summarizing. So what is marketing? Marketing is the process of getting potential clients or customers interested in your products and services, which is, it's basic. It's what we all know as marketing, As small business owners, we all have an understanding of what marketing is, and producers and so on. Now, nutritional marketing is a component of marketing. So it is the component of marketing that focuses on using nutritional information and the benefits of food in order to add value to food products and persuade the consumer to purchase. That is why, I can't remember who said it, but someone said they felt like going out and buying the food, or they wanted to know, do we have a branch here? Can we purchase it? And that is what it does in the end. It persuades you to go out and purchase the food. Now, nutritional marketing mediums, which I would like you to take note of because it may come up in your assignment at the end of the course. Nutritional marketing mediums include radio, television, social media, print media, food labels, and more. These are broad mediums that we will go into a little bit more detail later down the line. So this is basically what nutritional marketing is. Let's move to the other slide, Linnell. Thank you. So there is a health consciousness movement, and I'm sure you ladies would be aware of that. Even listening to some of you speak about yourselves, you made reference to certain things like salt and sugar not being healthy. I heard someone make reference to health, speaking about health in the context of, when you have health, you have everything. I heard someone making reference to liking sugar, although they know it's not that good for them. So clearly, even within the group, there is a certain level of health consciousness. And it is not just within the group, it is worldwide. Consumers are taking a more proactive role in their personal health and well-being. And that quote came from Data Monitor 2008, Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada. And so it's a worldwide movement because of the increasing rates of obesity, cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, non-communicable disease. Consumers are now seeking foods with health benefits. Right here in St. Lucia, our top 3 causes of death are actually non-communicable diseases caused predominantly by lifestyle. Number 1 is coronary heart disease. Number 2 is stroke. And number 3 is diabetes. And I know, speaking to other persons across the region and watching the news and reading the health statistics, I know that it is a Caribbean problem and not just a St. Lucia problem. And it is also a worldwide problem. So persons are becoming more conscious about their health and what they eat. You can move to the other one. Thank you. So let's take a closer look at nutritional content marketing movements. You've heard the word about trends, and a trend seems to be something that just comes and it goes, So there were different trends. There are fashion trends. There was a time when skinny jeans, and now I notice persons are going back into the 60s with the bell bottoms. Sometimes there's a mohawk trend, and then there was an Atkins diet trend and a keto trend, and lots of trends that come and go. But right now, the health movement is more than just a trend. It is a movement. It is a new lifestyle that persons are embracing. So the health trend is no longer trendy. It's a redefinition of the food market to market for nutrients. And the purpose of food, ladies, ultimately food is to get the right nutrients, not so? So consumers are now shifting from counting calories to looking for the right nutrition. So it is imperative that we say bye to food marketing, the old way of food marketing, and just, saying, buy this food product, buy this produce, buy the sweet potatoes, buy the chives, buy the breadfruits. It is imperative that we now shift to nutritional marketing and educate our consumers as to why they should buy the breadfruits and why they should buy the chives and why they should buy the sweet potato and what is so good about, cassava flour, and why is your chicken better than the other person's chicken, why should they buy it? There are so many protein sources. So now we have to actually give information to educate our consumers. And so we're looking at a few of the trends, and I put, trends in quotation marks because it's more than just a trend. Like I said, it's a movement, but this is what people are interested in now. And in order to market effectively, you need to know what people are interested in. First of all, they're interested in information and statistics. More people are searching the internet for health-related information. So you, as a small business owner, entrepreneur, food processor, farmer, you need to be a source of that nutrition data. Persons are also now looking for fortified food and drinks. They want to get food that has protein and probiotics and omegas and whole grains. All of these are becoming more popular. So if you have food products that fall within those categories, you want to make sure you inform the public, because it means that your food becomes an option for them. It meets the need. That's what they're looking for. Then there's the green and organic food movement, because now customers are more interested in sustainable and unprocessed food choices. If you have products that fit into that category, you should make it a prominent brand message, because persons are now looking for food that are not overly processed. They're counting chemicals now more than they're counting calories. They want to know which dyes does the food contain. They want to know, okay, does this have nuts? Does it have dairy? Does it have soy? Is it GMO? Is it organic? So it is important now that this information is translated very clearly to the consumer. Next slide. Okay, and we're continuing with the nutritional content marketing movements. Plant-based diets, this is another movement. Don't scroll too far, Linel, because we're going to go back up after to do a little recap. So plant-based diets, vegan products and brands are on the rise. To live healthier, more sustainable lives, customers are reducing their meat consumption or going vegan. And customers are going vegan for a variety of reasons. Some of them are doing it for health because they're developing chronic illnesses, and they are following the plant-based lifestyle so that they eat more whole and processed food to reverse those illnesses. Some persons are also overweight, and so they do it for weight management. Some persons do it for the planet because they're very planet conscious, they're green, and they want to make sure that they're reducing their footprint. So they want to stop eating meat because of all the water that is used and all of the waste to produce, not dairy farming. Dairy farming is one of them, but I'm speaking about livestock, right? For livestock farming. And also there are persons who are animal activists. I noticed one of the ladies said she's an animal lover. And so they believe that animals are sentient beings and they do not want to slaughter or be part of the slaughter of animals. So there are different reasons why persons are going vegan. Some persons also because of cholesterol and also antibiotics in meats, and all of the fact that now the meats are GMO and it's so compromised. Persons are looking for natural alternatives. Some persons are still consuming meats, but looking for healthier meat choices like antibiotic free. They're looking for free range. They want meats that are, the happy cows. That is why the livestock industry would put out these advertisements with the happy cows and the dairy industry, because they want to evoke the message to customers that the animals are being treated well. So you have persons going to plant-based diets for that reason. And then of course, there's food as medicine, which is one of the reasons why people go plant-based. But it's also one of the reasons why people watch the chemicals. They want to know what's in the food, and they want to be more careful about what they eat. So the rates of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and other diseases are on the rise, which is something I highlighted at the start of the presentation. And because of this, the food sector is responding to the consumer's demand with healthier food choices. So that is why now we have whole ranges of diabetic products. We have whole ranges of sugar-free products. We're seeing the emergence of a wide variety of alternative sweeteners, low glycemic sweeteners. We're seeing reduced salt products. We're seeing salt-free products, because again, the food sector is responding to the consumer's demands, which are always changing. So we cannot market food the way we marketed it when our parents were children, or what happened 40 years ago. We have to keep up with the times and change. Lina, I'll just go back to the previous slide. Okay, so I just want to do a quick recap. We are looking at nutritional content marketing movements. These outline what the consumers are looking for. What we looked at was 1, nutritional information and statistics, 2, green and organic food, 3, plant-based diets, and we have food as medicine. Oh, I missed fortified food and drinks and fortified food and drinks. So remember those nutritional marketing movements. We're not going to call them trends because they've become permanent and they're growing rapidly. So we're going to call them movements. Okay, let's go down. Yes, go to that one. Not this one, the other one, the one after it. Okay, lovely. Yes, that's the one. Thank you. So let's talk about the food health connection. You can't speak about food and not speak about health. Don't worry, I see the message from Tishari. We're going to go back and do a recap in a little bit. But just for you, I'm going to, you don't have to go to the slide, Linel. I'm just going to repeat it quickly for Tishari. The marketing movements to consider: 1, nutritional information and statistics; 2, fortified food and drinks; 3, green and organic food; 4, plant-based diets; and 5, food as medicine. So these are the nutritional marketing movements. These are the persons, the groups we're targeting. That is what they're interested in. So let's talk about the food health connection. Creating and applying healthy eating messages is good for health, and it's healthy for business. So as persons who work in food processors, food product creators, farmers, we can play our role in terms of communicating those healthy eating messages to the public. And it is good for the whole nation, because a healthy nation is a strong nation, but it is also good for business because you're appealing to a particular need, which in fact will persuade customers to purchase what you're offering. Consumers are concerned about their health, and so they take those messages very seriously. So don't ever underestimate the power of nutritional messaging. Making the food health connection by teaching consumers how the food they eat can improve their health is a very critical aspect of nutritional marketing. Because as we said in the beginning, I mean, the purpose of nutrients is to nourish the body. And so when persons get that information and they're sufficiently persuaded that the food is going to help them achieve whatever health goal, they are going to purchase that food. And at the end of the day, marketing is not effective if it does not translate into sales. If persons are just looking at your products and saying, okay, it looks nice, but they're not buying it, you're not really successful, because you're running a business, and a business has to make sales. That's important. Purchases are important. Okay, so let's move on to the other slide. Right, now before we go to this slide, Linel, I should have given you a little hint. I would like you to pull up the video on passion fruits for me, please. And this video is just an example of how you can show the nutritional information of passion fruits, which is a common, fruit throughout the Caribbean that we use to make juices. We use it to make sauces and that sort of thing. Thank you, Linel. Thanks so much. So ladies, let's be honest, okay? I want a little feedback from you. Let's be honest. After watching this video about passion fruits, how do you feel about passion fruits? Just give me, I mean, we all know passion fruit. We've used it in one way or another. But what are your thoughts about passion fruit now that you've seen that video?
You know, that is so interesting because there are actually like two passion fruits. How should I put it? Growers in this class. Myself and somebody else who grows it.
I see someone said they're passionate about passion fruits. I love it. Continue, go ahead.
Yeah, so myself, and I think it's Ernest, teacher Ernest, something her name is, that grows passion fruit for sale. And it's so interesting that you would post that video about passion fruit, because it further solidifies what my thoughts were with regards to passion fruit, and like highlighting the health benefits of it. It just strikes a chord with me.
Lovely. Okay, good. Someone else, tell me, what are your thoughts about passion fruit now that you've seen that video? What does it evoke in you? What did that video make you ponder on?
The desire to use more of it.
Lovely. And someone just said in the chat, I did not know there were so many benefits of passion fruit. Okay, so, and this is the whole, this is why nutritional marketing is so important. And even within the group, you ladies can see and experience for yourself the power of nutritional marketing. You look at a simple food item that you may have known about your entire life and may have consumed, and it may be one of your favorite food items, you love it. And all of a sudden you're looking at it differently and you're like, wait a minute, I didn't know passion fruit can do all that. I'm going to have to consume more passion fruit. I remember a couple of weeks ago speaking to some, close friend of mine about basil, who has issues with gas, digestive issues. And I was saying to her that she can use, go ahead, Ruth, go ahead.
Well, I was just, I worry that it's a fine line between making these claims and statements and yet not really, having the facts, or what, don't you need to do a clinic or a study to prove these things, these claims?
Okay, well, as you may notice, the video had a link at the bottom, which actually said that you could go there for more information. It's a link with actual factual data that substantiates what's in the video. And during the presentation, that will be addressed as well, because all claims have to be backed by science. But at the end of the day, the onus is also on the consumer to go and do their research. The food processor doing the advertising is not writing a white paper or a research paper. They're simply stating some facts that they've learned. So they can post a link for those who want to do research, or the consumer themselves will do it. And trust me, they are, which is one of the first things that we covered: nutrition, information, and statistics. Consumers are now searching the web to get information. So as long as you know that what you're sharing is factual, you can always put a link, but persons will double check it. They will double check.
Yeah, I know. I do feel like there's so much information on the internet that you can probably find something to justify and back up, any kind of claim. But
that is the reality of how it is right now. It's a push button information space age. So it's up to the consumer to sift through and decide whether they want to believe your claims or not. So I was saying earlier that I was speaking to a friend of mine and saying to her that, she has issues with her stomach. And I was saying to her, you should drink basil. And she said to me, basil, I drink a lot of ginger. Why basil? And I said to her, well, basil is actually excellent for gas and digestive issues and for intestinal worms. And she said to me, I've used basil in my pesto. I've used basil for years in my food as seasoning, but I never knew basil had these types of medicinal values. So she went on and bought a basil plant. But this is, again, an example that when persons are enlightened or educated about how something can help them, they are more inclined to go out and purchase it. I saw someone's hand earlier. Was it Linez?
No, it wasn't mine. Excuse me. I went off. I had to use a different device. Sorry.
Okay,
The charger left. Sorry.
Not a problem. Okay, so we're going to go back to the presentation. Right. So earlier on, we dealt with marketing trends to consider, which I really classified as movements. And I'm just going to repeat again. We went through the 5 categories: nutrition, information, and statistics, fortified food and drinks, green and organic food, plant-based diets, and food as medicine, which are the common nutritional marketing movements. So we looked at the video about passion fruits, which told you some wonderful benefits about passion fruit. And videos like that you can use, which we are going to go later down the line, or you can create your own. So let's talk about nutritional marketing strategies for your business. Now that you've understood what nutritional marketing is, You've seen examples of it through the video. You also have looked at the nutritional movements in terms of what people are looking for right now in terms of nutrition. Now let's look at the strategies. So we can utilize nutritional marketing in a variety of ways to not only encourage certain behaviors, but we can use it as a tool to move our business goals forward. So we're going to break it down into 3 broad categories. The nutritional marketing strategies fall under 1, messaging on food packaging. We're talking about labels, health campaigns, and direct nutrition education. So these are 3 broad labels that we're now going to break down. Messaging on food packaging, that is labeling. We're also looking at health campaigns, and we're looking at direct nutrition information. Next slide. So let's deal with labeling. Many times when persons think about nutritional marketing, they don't think about labels, but labels are actually the very first place to begin. Because before you can make any claims about a product, and I'm not speaking about passion fruits or produce, because clearly you can't label those. I'm speaking about persons who are agro-processors who may make products from those. Some persons sell juices, some persons sell flowers, some persons sell different types of breadfruit cake, or whatever it is that you may make from your products to sell. Okay, so labeling is an excellent opportunity for food processors to help consumers become consumer-friendly nutritional labeling combined with credible messaging is a powerful marketing tool. And again, being in the Caribbean, many times I come across Caribbean labels versus labels from other parts of the world. And many times we don't do a good job as we could in terms of informing the consumer of what's in our product through proper labeling. So let's talk about messaging on food packaging. Food labels are an important source of nutrition information, which helps consumers make informed purchasing choices. Your label reflects what your product is, what it contains, and its nutritional content. Does your label reflect information based on growing health and wellness trends in today's market? For example, let's say you're selling cassava flour. Cassava is gluten-free. Does your label say gluten-free? Because you have persons who are trying to avoid gluten, or they have gluten sensitivities, or they have celiac disease. Does your label say gluten-free, or do people pick up your product and think, does it have gluten? I wonder. How can I find out? Then again, they will put it down and pick up a product that tells them it's gluten-free, as opposed to them trying to play a guessing game. Nutrients should be listed. Example, excellent source of beta carotene, or anti-inflammatory, or boosts the immune system, or helps relieve cold and flu symptoms, etc., etc. So you want to make sure you put these things on your food packages. Move on to the next slide, please. So we're still on labeling, okay? Right, so we're still on labeling, and the first aspect of labeling we're going to look at are the things that customers do not want. If customers want to decrease a certain amount of nutrients or ingredients, they look for labels that include the following: free, none or hardly any of this product, any of this ingredient or nutrient in the food. Low, which is a small amount. Reduced, which means that at least 25% or less of that particular ingredient compared to other food products. So for example, if your product says reduce sugar and you're selling biscuits, right? A biscuit made with sweet potato flour, sweet potato chocolate chip biscuit, for instance, and it says reduced, it means that another person or another brand that sells that same product, you have 25% less than what theirs contain in terms of what is standard on the market. So for example, we have some juices that, are made in the Caribbean, which have 30 grams of sugar. Your juice would probably be reduced. If it's reduced, then it means that it would have 25% or less. So it could have 10%, it could have 5%, but less than what is standard out there, okay? And then we have light, which can be used on foods that are reduced in fat and calories, or lightly salted is also permitted for persons watching their salt intake, like for nuts and so on. Linel, just pull up the label for me, please, of the cereal box. No, we're not on that one yet. We're going to the cereal box first. Okay, we're just waiting a little bit so Linel can get a label, a cereal box. We want to see the packaging. It has some key messages that I want you to see. You're having some difficulty getting it, Linel?
No, I have it. It's just loading.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to this label, okay? You will notice it is a type of cereal. It's not a local product. It says super grain hoops. So first thing it says is super grain, which is already a catchword because persons are looking for grains. You know, they're looking for superfoods. Then it says free from gluten and milk. And again, this is in response to the marketing movements, food as medicine. Persons are looking for things that, again, health issues. Persons who are lactose intolerant or vegan. We spoke of plant-based diets in the beginning of the presentation as one of the marketing movements to consider. So right here you're seeing, and it says fortified food and drink. So when you see super grain and whole grain, it's already telling you this is a source of whole grain. This is a superfood. And then the label also says free from gluten and milk. So this caters to the food as medicine people and also the people on plant-based diets. So they already know. Then it says organic and vegan. Remember in the start of the presentation, as part of the 5 nutritional marketing trends to consider, I spoke of green and organic food, that persons are now looking for more organic food options. So this one also speaks to that. It says whole grains and it says a source of fiber. So this box alone, this cereal box, covers it actually covers everything in the nutritional marketing movements that we spoke of earlier. It covers all 5 categories, okay? So this is an example of what I speak of. Linel, pull up the other one for me, please. Not the cassava flour, not that one. Not that one. We're going to look at that one last, the other one. Right. Let's look at Anthony's buckwheat flour. The buckwheat is fine, and then we'll go to this one. Anthony's buckwheat flour. First word you see, organic. So it speaks to the green and organic movement. Then you see gluten-free. It speaks to food as medicine. Okay. And then you see vegan. It speaks to plant-based diets. So you have, again, clear messaging on the packaging that the minute a consumer picks it up, they don't have to second guess or try to imagine or think of, does this have gluten? Is this vegan? It's not obvious. You have to inform the customer. Let's go to the other one, which is the buckwheat, Linel, the one you were pulling up next. Right. Let's look at this. You have, right, this one. First, it says USDA organic. So you know it's organic. Then it says gluten-free. Then it says non-GMO. Then it says whole grain. Again, these are the messages that speak to the movements that are taking place in the world today. And those movements represent people. These are the views that people have. These are their convictions. This is what they're looking for in food. Now let's go to the cassava farine photo. Okay, so let's look at this cassava farine. This is actually locally made. And as you may notice, there is absolutely nothing on the labeling that tells you if the product is organic. There is nothing that says if it's gluten-free. There is absolutely nothing that tells you anything about the nutrition of the product in terms of source of minerals, source of vitamins, fiber, whatever, nothing. And this is a contrast in terms of what we saw in the 3 previous products. We looked at the cereal box, we looked at the buckwheat, and we looked at the buckwheat flour. And you may notice that there is no messaging. It is just a plain product. Now, if there is a cassava farine from an imported brand right next to this local product of cassava farine, the consumer would look at those 2 products and mentally the other product would evoke something in this consumer because they're getting information and they're like, oh, it's vegan. Okay. It's organic. So they will pick up the imported product. Sometimes it may even cost more than the local product, but the local product is not informing them as it relates to a need that they have. A vegan has to guess would I be inadvertently consuming milk if I buy this product? Was it made in a facility that processes milk products as well? A health conscious person would be like, I wonder if they use pesticides. Is this organic? Okay. So, you know, but cassava, somebody might have a misconception. Cassava have a bunch of starch. I don't think I'll buy that. A label could correct that perception because it might tell you whole grains or fiber. So this is why labeling is extremely important, because consumers are looking for information when they pick up your food products. So you need to make sure that your messaging is clear and make sure it speaks to a demand or a need that exists in today's food markets. And you remember, I'm sure by now you remember those movements, which is nutritional information and statistics, fortified food and drink, green and organic food, plant-based diets, and food as medicine. Always understand and remember that what you like or what your needs are may vary vastly from that of your consumers. You may not be the least bit interested in organic or gluten-free or vegan or non-dairy. You may not care if it's organic or if it's not GMO, but your consumer does. And so you're making the product for them, not according to your likes and tastes. Okay, thank you, Linell. Let's go back to the slide. Okay, so let's just go back to the previous one. Right, so in the previous slide, we looked at the ingredients or nutrients that customers want to decrease. There are certain things that we want to avoid. Some of us want to avoid sugar. We want to avoid saturated fats. We want to avoid excessive salt. We may want to avoid anything that has pesticides or has been treated with pesticides. We may want to avoid anything with dairy. For example, me, I'm vegan. So I would not consume dairy or any type of animal product. So I read labels very carefully to ensure. And aside from being vegan, I'm lactose intolerant. So if I consume dairy, I can actually get sick. So I'm one of those who will not buy a product if it doesn't say clearly that it does not contain dairy. So we looked at things that customers do not want, but there are also ingredients and nutrients that customers actually want. So let's move to the next slide. So when we're looking at ingredients that customers actually want, the messaging on the food packaging also has to reflect that. So customers want to increase certain nutrients. They look for labels with certain keywords like sauce. Sauce means it contains a significant amount of a particular nutrient, or a high or good sauce, which means that it contains a high amount of that nutrient, or a very high or excellent sauce, which means that it contains a high amount of the nutrients. And if you remember the cereal box in the picture before, it literally said source of fiber. So persons know when they consume that cereal, they're getting fiber, which means, you know, to them, it contains a significant amount. So the labeling is also important, not just to reflect what the product does not have, but also to show what the product has that persons are looking for. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, just to speak about for Zadia, okay, yes, thank you for that contribution. Persons who are lactose intolerant can do that. However, it does not take away the intolerance. They can still become sick over time if they keep injuring their bodies by consuming a food item that they are not genetically predisposed to be able to handle. In order to break down lactose, you need to have the enzyme lactase. Over 80% of persons of color do not have lactase. And so enzymes break down all the foods we eat, amylase for carbohydrates, protease for proteins. So when you're consuming something and you have to take a pill to help your body break it down, that is not natural. Your body is rejecting it. Yes. So lactose intolerance is rampant, but because persons love their milk and they love their ice cream, they will still eat dairy, even if they might have a bit of bloating after or a bit of stomach discomfort, or they may go to the bathroom or they may start to belch, but they don't see it as that uncomfortable to prevent them from eating it. But in the world we live today, there are so many food choices. You don't even have to take Lactaid. you can get delicious vegan ice creams. You can get like you can get vegan cheeses. You can get everything non-dairy now, and you can even make them too. So it's not even necessary. So now that was a bit off topic. I was speaking to you as Sam, the health coach, not Sam, the facilitator. So let's move on. Okay, so we're still on messaging on food packaging. And I believe it was Ruth who made a point earlier that she was speaking about the research or the science. And like she rightfully said, there's something out there to support everything. And so it is really just a matter of choice. It is really just a matter of the preference of the consumer. Your job is to present the information, not to make the choice for the consumer. That's their decision. So for example, you have what is listed there, sorry, is that all health claims must be supported by science. And this speaks of honesty. You're not going to put bogus information out there just to get your product to sell. Okay, so you have to ensure that you're getting information that is accurate. You have to ensure that you're going on, sites that you can trust, PubMed, reading books, getting the necessary information, going and get research papers, and making sure that you're putting claims that are substantiated by science, nothing bogus. You can't tell a person, this is going to do that, For example, let's take men's health. We joke about it sometimes, but there's a phrase that anytime you tell a man that he takes something and it's going to help with his virility or his sexual health, he will drink it. And so many food producers are really piggy and, they're overdoing it. So now they're putting honey goat weed in alcoholic beverages, and they're making all kinds of claims that, oh, men, take it, it's going to help you. And a lot of it is actually not accurate, but it's marketing. So that point is well taken. Now let's talk about health claims. Yeah, there are health claims that you are making on your food packaging, and we're still on labeling, and labeling is one of the mediums of nutritional marketing. Okay, so we have the general health claim. This one is the broadest in nature. It does not refer to any specific health effect, disease, or condition. So basically, this is about a nutrient or a substance in the food itself and the effect on health. For example, you can say calcium for strong bones and teeth. Absolutely no one can dispute that calcium is for strong bones and teeth, but this is a general claim. Now there's the functional claim, and this one also includes nutrient claims. And this is a statement about the specific beneficial effects that the consumption of a food or a food constituent has on normal functions of biological activities of the body. Example, consuming 7 grains of fiber from oatmeal promotes regularity. Okay, so you're making a claim that the fiber, we all know going to the bathroom, having bowel movements is a normal part of human biology. So this is a nutrient and a functional claim because the claim is that the fiber in there can help you to be regular with your bowel movements. Okay, and then there's last but not least, disease reduction and therapeutic claim, which is a statement that links a food or a constituent of the food to reducing the risk of developing a diet-related disease or condition. Example, a healthy diet rich in vegetables and fruit can help reduce the risk of some types of cancer. Okay, so these are the different categories of claims that you can put on your food packaging, and not just on your food packaging, but as we go to the next slide, you will learn another medium. These messages can go throughout the marketing mediums that we are going to be exploring over the next few slides. So let's move to the other one. Blogging. Blogging is also a nutrition marketing strategy. So recap, we did labeling, which is food messaging, which is number 1. And now we are doing blogging, which is number 2. Okay, so blogging refers to writing, photography, and other media that is self-published online. Blogging will help you attract and nurture leads, then capture and engage with new existing customers. Blogging expands your brand's visibility and gives Google and other search engines content to index and serve up in the results. So when you blog, people can find you and your information easily. So don't be shy, start a blog or start a vlog, which is a video blog. In your blog, you must ensure that you are informative. You must ensure that you feed as much information as you can provide, but at the same time, it should be clear and compelling. Facebook and YouTube blogs are very popular with consumers, and they increase your search engine ratings. So this is one way you can give nutrition, you can practice nutritional marketing and promote your products and brands in that way through blogging. Move to the next one. The third way, first we did labeling, food messaging. Second, we did blogging. Now we are on build social media engagement. The entire global clan is existing online. So think of social media as a two-way street. Don't just broadcast information, ask questions and respond to comments. Many times I go on business pages and I'm asking a question about a food product, like, is this vegan? 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months, nobody responds to me. Okay, so you don't want to have a social media page and you don't engage your customers. Do a poll, ask them a question like, what type of food products would you like to see us create? What new products would you like? How can we improve our service? Ask your customers what they want and what they need. Now, this requires monitoring, but the benefits and engagement are huge. But I would say to you, if you are not ready to devote and dedicate your time to social media, or you cannot afford to hire a marketing company or someone to do it for you, don't start it because it will flop. If you're not going to have the time to post and to engage, it will be futile. So you want to wait until you can handle that medium to do so. Now, people are seeking healthy products. People who are seeking healthy products look for an online presence of a brand. A nutrition brand with a strong media engagement will always stand out and attract customers. Let's move to the next slide, which is a continuation of social media. Okay, your social media can host short inspirational messages and appealing visuals. Create high quality content that can be shared in a number of ways. Make sure your page is public. Make sure your buttons are all shareable. Put cute little videos that persons can easily download and they can share it via WhatsApp, share it to their timelines, put it on their stories. Don't just use your timeline for posting, use your stories for posting. And when you're using the stories, you can do tagging if necessary. And what can happen is that your subscribers will take those stories, your stories, and share it on their stories. So you want to make sure that it can be shared. Post high quality Instagram photos. Don't post the blurry photos. Don't post things that are not clear. Don't post photos and have the head is missing or some of the text is missing. Make sure it is clear. 70% of Instagram hashtags are branded. Find hashtags that people in your niche are using and join in. Feature pictures of your products along with their benefits and detailed descriptions. Furthermore, you can even add customers' testimonials to build trust, okay? Because customers love a good testimonial. Customers love to see someone who benefited from your product. They want to see how your product changed someone's life. They want to see how the person was healed, how the person's whatever they were going through improved, how they became healthier. They want to see, you know, how the person lost weight because they were eating your product. Persons love testimonials because they are relatable. They show regular persons using the product and it helps them. Post motivational content, nutritional and dieting tips. Everyone loves a little bit of motivation. Everyone loves something that is inspiring. We all need and want motivation. So post motivational content. Next slide. Okay, so just to recap, don't go back up, I'll just call it. We are dealing with effective nutrition strategies, effective nutritional marketing strategies, and we spoke of labeling, which is food packaging. We spoke of social media, and we also spoke of blogging. Okay, so we've covered 3. We are now moving on to influencer marketing. For those of you who are on social media, you would know that, oh my gosh, now we are flooded with social medias on our, influencers on our timelines. There are influencers for everything now. Fitness influencers, facial product influencers, you know, healthy eating influencers, weight loss influencers, lifestyle influencers, all different types of influencers. But you know what? Influencer marketing works. It inspires. And you can inspire with influencer marketing. Collaborate with an influencer to promote your diet wellness product. Collaborate with an influencer who has a story. For example, if you want to target people who want to lose weight, collaborate with a fitness enthusiast who specializes in weight loss strategies using some food products you sell. Okay, because if that person shows that your product helped them, if that person shows that or promotes the use of your product, it will inspire people to use the product. When you collaborate with influencers, you give your customers an inspiration to switch to a healthier lifestyle, but also creates a connection of your brand with your target customer, because an influencer is relatable. An influencer might be a regular person who was overweight, and they were able to get to a healthy weight by moving to your plant-based products. And so persons would be like, this is me. I see me in that influencer. I am overweight. And if they can do it, so can I. So it is relatable and it also inspires. Now, I have to say as well that you have to be careful the influencers you collaborate with. Not because someone is a popular singer or a local celebrity in a particular area, it means they're the right fit for you, because that person has to be a living representation of your brand, of your product. And so you have to ensure that it's a compatible union. Okay, let's move to the next one. Build a website. So correct, very good, Linez. They have to fit your brand. Linez put that in the comments and she's spot on. So your website can host more in-depth information, more in-depth material. Remember, everyone is different. Understand this. Some persons respond better to videos and infographics, while others prefer to read white papers and case studies. The key is to give the right content at the right time, depending on where your customers are in the sales cycle. And that is why I said a few moments ago that you are marketing your business for the public, not for yourself. It's not about what you like. You may not like social media, okay? That doesn't mean your consumers are not on social media. You may love to read research papers and go and read case studies. You have consumers who don't give a hoot about case studies and research papers. They just want a meme with some information and they're happy with that. So you want to ensure that you are doing, your marketing is very multidimensional in the sense that you are appealing to different groups of people. So some people, some popular nutritional content for websites are healthy recipes. So it's not just informing people about the benefits of sweet potato or the benefits of passion fruit, but what can they make with those produce? And which is not conventional or traditional. It's not just about boiling sweet potato. It's about sweet potato pie, sweet potato cake, sweet potato punch, sweet potato cookies, sweet potato pancakes. You know what I mean? So you want to educate persons that your food product is versatile. Okay, you want them to know that they can do many different things with your product, and a website is a great place to present that information. Tips for healthy living. You can have an article every day on, healthy living tips. You could talk about from water consumption to getting enough rest to exercise. It may not always relate to the produce that you sell, but it is along the lines of healthy living. Then there's food information and nutrition statistics, which some people are big on. They want to know the latest studies. They want to know what's on PubMed. They want to see the research papers. A website is a good place to put it. And then, of course, there's the product stories, which is behind the scenes. Everybody loves a good product story. They want to see how you grow your produce. They want videos from farm to table, from soil to boil. They want to know what it entails. They want to see your hands in the dirt, or they want to see you bottling, labeling, packaging. They want that action. Again, it makes them feel as if they can trust the brand. They see the entire process. So your website is a good place to present that information. Okay, so these are the nutritional marketing strategies. Let us just recap a little bit. Linel, go back to the first slide on nutritional marketing strategies. Not the presentation, the strategies. Okay, we have one before that. We have labeling. Labeling is the first, right? So we looked at the diet and nutrition marketing strategies, and we looked at labeling. Okay, we also looked at, go down, Linel. We looked at blogging. That was number 2. And number 3 was, we looked at social media. Number 4 was influencer marketing. Okay, well, that's a continuation of social media. And number 4 was influencer marketing. And number 5, last but not least, we spoke of websites. Okay, so let's move on a little bit. Right. Let's talk about nutritional content, because you have to also understand who you are targeting. And there are different groups of persons you're targeting. And you may remember the word I used earlier, multifaceted. Your marketing has to be multifaceted because you're appealing to different people. There are the experts. The experts are the professional athletes, the semi-pros, the instructors. They're the ones who want to know about the macros and the protein and how many grains and the calorie deficit and so on. Then you have the average health conscious enthusiast, which is just a regular person who may have been motivated because, you know, they're just very informed, you know, maybe educated or just knowledgeable, and they want to ensure that they're eating healthy, or maybe they had an illness, a condition, and they got better through healthy eating, so they want to persist in that lifestyle. So you have the health conscious person, and this is the person who would be on the internet looking for information, reading the studies, you know, very enthusiastic about healthy living. And then you have the beginner. The beginner is that person that wants to live healthy but needs the encouragement, okay? So these are your three categories of individuals that you are targeting. Focus on creating content that specifically targets one of this group or more. It doesn't always have to be one. Niche marketing is when it is targeted towards one small group, but you can also do broad-based or general marketing, which is for everyone. That is why your messages have to be tweaked accordingly. So you need to ask yourself, who is your ideal customer? How old are they? Where do they live? What are their average earnings? What kind of content do they want to read and watch? And what social media do they use? Because, for example, a younger person in business might focus on TikTok and Instagram, okay? Maybe Twitter too. Maybe they're just busy posting reels and posting short videos and posting TikTok videos, and they are totally neglecting the older part of their audience that are interested in Facebook and interested in websites and reading the studies and more, you know, different type of information. So you have to be conscious of that and make sure that you are using all the mediums and all the methods to reach all the groups, the subsets of people, okay? So let's go on to the next slide. Right, so this is the final topic we're going to be looking at for tonight. And before we go into it, I would like Linnell to play the video on the advantages of eating Caribbean fruits, because that video is very important for this aspect of the presentation.
This is video 3 or 4?
This is video 4. That is, yes, research behind eating Caribbean fruits and veggies, video 4.
The research behind eating Caribbean fruits. In our quest for healthier eating choices, we are encouraged to eat foods with less fat and sodium, more fiber, more complex carbohydrates, and low in calories. The foods that are most promoted are usually imported ones, since more is known about them than our local foods. We may therefore seek out whole grain cereals and breads, fruits such as the American apple, plum, and grapes, and vegetables such as broccoli and cauliflower. But how do our local foods compare? Who has not heard the adage, an apple a day keeps the doctor away? This is probably because the American apple has fiber to facilitate gut health and rid the body of waste. But did you know that one guava fruit has 4 times the amount of fiber, slightly more potassium, and 19 times the amount of vitamin C as an American apple? In comparison to a whole bunch of grapes, one guava has 25 times more vitamin C, 4 times more fiber, and about the same potassium. Likewise, it would take 15 American apples to supply the vitamin C content of one West Indian cherry. Cranberry juice has become very popular because of its benefit to bladder health. But have you thought that similar benefits could be had from coconut water at less than half the calories and with appreciably more potassium? A glass of cranberry juice will provide about 150 to 200 calories, while the same glass of coconut water contains only 50 calories, while giving 400 milligram potassium compared to 60 milligram for cranberry juice. For those concerned about the sodium content of coconut water, be assured that a single glass will provide only 60 milligrams sodium compared to 700 milligram in V8 canned vegetable juice. Also, be assured that the coconut water has no fat. The fat of coconut resides in the jelly and will thus be found in coconut milk, but there's no cholesterol since the coconut is of plant origin and cholesterol is found only in foods of animal origin. This means that butter will have cholesterol, but coconut milk, like the vegetable margarines, is free of cholesterol. Moreover, the traditional way of cooking with coconut milk for flavor is better than using margarine, which is often substituted in porridge, rice and peas, and soups. A tablespoon of coconut milk has only 38 calories and 4 gram fat, compared to 111 calories in the same amount of margarine and 11.5 grams fat. Also, the fat in coconut is healthier for the body than margarine fat. Two other sources of fat that are often mislabeled are the Jamaican ackee and the avocado pear. Neither has any cholesterol and the fat is monounsaturated. That is the same type of fat that we pay so much for in the olive oil. The Irish potato, brown rice, and whole kernel corn provide the least fiber per serving. Those of better value are whole wheat bread, green banana, and sweet potato, providing 1.5 gram per serving of about 70 calories. Richer still is rolled oats at 1.96 gram, but topping the list, you guessed it, or local breadfruit at 2.45 for a serving of 2 slices. So next time when you reach for the foreign goods on the shelf, don't forget, our local products are the best. This research was conducted by nutritionist Patricia Thompson. She is the Executive Director of Jamaican Island Nutrition Network.
Thank you for that, Linnell. Thank you so much. Okay, ladies, and before we go into the final topic of the unique selling proposition, I beg your indulgence another time. I want you to tell me, what are your thoughts?
These quick and easy tuna cakes are tender, delicious, and loaded with flavor. Hi, you're watching Play.
Okay. All right, ladies. So I want you to just give me just a few thoughts from a few of you after seeing this video. Just tell me what are your thoughts? I agree with you, Zadia. It does. It does. Absolutely. I'm with you on that one. Okay, let's a little talking, ladies. I want you to just give me your views. Everybody,
right. This is Carol.
Hi, Carol.
I find that sometimes the imported goods are cheaper than the local goods. Coconut water is very expensive, and apple, and then with guava, it could constipate you if you eat too much. So sometimes the information on how much to consume in terms of Caribbean products, we don't have the information and guidance.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Your point. I guess it would vary from island to island because coconut water is very cheap and affordable in St. Lucia. So I guess each island would have the things that are more expensive. In terms of getting constipated when you eat guava, I think that is subjective. It depends on the individual. Everybody's gut is different. So it cannot be a general blanket statement because, guava is high in fiber. Different persons have different stomach types. I mean, we grew up eating tons and tons of guavas. There was a guava tree in my yard as a child growing up. We ate guavas all day long, once it's in season, all the time. None of us were constipated. I know lots of other persons who grew up eating those fruits. I think there are also a lot of misconceptions about our local products and an elevation of what is imported because we look at an apple, and I mean, apples are covered with paraffin wax, which is not something that should be ingested. Additionally, if you look at the numbers on the apples, these represent the level of pesticides. And actually, 99% of the apples coming into the Caribbean are highly treated with pesticides. Yeah. Whereas most of our indigenous local fruits grow in the wild, which means they do not need any pesticides or fertilizers. Breadfruit grows naturally, so does guava, so does mango, so does golden apple, sapodilla, sugar apple, soursop, name it. So whereas a lot of these imported fruits tend to be genetically modified to improve the texture, the taste. Let me give you an example. Let's take watermelon. Most of the watermelon coming out of the US and some of those more developed countries are genetically modified so that they will not have seeds. Watermelon that has been genetically modified actually has less nutrients and more sugar than a watermelon which is indigenous to nature and seeded. But again, like someone is saying in the chat, overconsumption of nothing is good, even healthy food. So, you know, you don't want to be eating guavas, you know, 7 days a week, 6 guavas a day, that type of thing. But the more natural something is, it's the more you can eat, you can consume it. But at the end of the day, you don't want to overconsume anything. Yeah. Okay. So can I get somebody else's thoughts?
This is Tishari.
Hi, Tishari.
And for me, that is an argument that I have been making very much in recent times, especially considering the increase in prices in the fruits like grapes and strawberries and those fruits that we import regularly. So yes, this is something that I have been actually considering. I was a bit confused when the person spoke about the price of jelly water. I mean, I guess $10 a bottle is maybe on the high side.
But that's a 1.7 liter bottle, eh? That's a big bottle.
Right. So I mean, I wouldn't call it expensive really, but I tend to grow the foods that I consider beneficial, the most beneficial that we hear, like most of, like the pomegranate, the soursop, the jelly, the avocado, those foods that we hear most of, I try to grow all of them myself. I have all of them in my backyard because yes, I strongly believe in the argument that video was making. And I'm not that super health conscious. I mean, I'm conscious enough, but I err with bad practices.
Okay, appreciate it. Thanks for your feedback. Jacqueline, I see you. I understand. Thanks for informing us of why you could not come earlier, but we're happy to have you nonetheless. And yes, I do agree with the point that you just made, because sometimes we complain about local food being expensive, and to me it's an oxymoron, because I go to the supermarket and I see a little jar, a little container of sour strawberries for 30 something EC dollars, and I see, you know, about 12 grapes for 18 EC dollars, and people are buying it because again they have the perception that it is good for them and it's probably even superior to what's local. And then I see the same persons complaining about paying $5 for 6 or 7 mangoes. And we have to look at a lot of things here. We have to look at food that is mass produced because it's genetically modified, whereas our local farmers are doing everything. It's mainly manual. There is no genetic modification, so the foods are more natural. It's the same reason that our local chocolate is quote unquote more expensive, but it is worth every penny, because most persons don't even realize that the chocolates that we're importing are not even real chocolates. They're candy bars. They can't even be classified as chocolates because they only have 10% or less of real cocoa. They've replaced the natural cocoa fat, which is the cocoa butter, with vegetable oils so that they can make more profit by selling the cocoa butter to the pharmaceutical industry to make skin products and medicines. And there's also the fact that it has so many added stabilizers, lecithins, ingredients, fillers, and chemicals to make this, you know, Milky Way and Snickers bar that everybody's going crazy over. And by the same token, we'll say, oh, this local chocolate is so pricey. But our local chocolate is authentic. It does not have preservatives. It doesn't have stabilizers. It doesn't have vegetable oils and, you know, hydrogenated fats and that sort of thing. So basically, when our local chocolatiers will take one block of chocolate to make 100 bars, those big companies will make 10,000 out of that same amount of chocolate and add a lot of unsavory ingredients to bulk it up. So naturally, you are going to pay a little bit more for what is authentic and more natural and less processed. So we have to keep all those things in mind, but as well, we can eat for seasons. If you're eating mango in season, it's going to be cheapest. If you're eating golden apples in season, it's not going to be expensive. Sometimes there's a glut of pumpkin on the markets, and other times when pumpkin is not as available, the price goes up. So these are things we need to consider. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I am totally and 100% for the support of what is local. It is scientifically proven to be better. And very importantly, we are supporting our local economy, our local farmers, our local industries, which I am very, very passionate about. So it's a pet peeve for me. So anyway, let's move on. We don't have all night. We need
Just
to get
before
to
you move on, please. What about the
Sure.
nutritional facts of sugar apple and soursop?
Well, that I don't have available right now to give you, but I can get it for you and give it to you. Okay, so I could share that in the group. What's your name? Let me just take a note of who's asking.
Melita Elliott.
That is one that you grow?
It's all around my house, at every side of the
beautiful.
house. I have at least
beautiful.
8 sugar apple trees right around the side. Just go on my veranda and I
will
pick
get
them.
you the information. I mean, in terms of the soursop, we know the basic stuff in terms of, its abilities to fight cancer. We know of the nutrients it contains and that sort of thing. Right now on Instagram, you will get a jar of graviola powder. They call it graviola as well. You're going to get a jar of graviola, organic graviola powder for 20 US, a tiny jar. You know what's graviola powder? Dried and grinded up soursop leaves. Okay. Wow. And it is marketed as an anti-carcinogenic or an anti-tumor supplement. And we've all heard our grandparents, and we know that soursop is proven to fight cancer, but they're grinding up the leaves and selling the powder on the internet. And we have this, and it's indigenous to us. We certainly need to do more. We need to do more, but let's move on. Okay, so thank you for your contributions, ladies. Thank you so much. I'm loving it. You all are engaging and it's beautiful. Let's move on to the final part of the presentation. Okay, so we're talking about our unique selling proposition. And the discussion we had and the video that you viewed earlier on really captures what a unique selling proposition is. A unique selling proposition is important for nutritional marketing because this is what makes you distinctive. This is what distinguishes you from your competitor. So your unique selling point is a marketing strategy that informs customers about your brand and how it is superior to its competitors. And what this video did there was demonstrated to you clearly how Caribbean fruits and Caribbean foods are superior to imported ones. Let me just recap a little bit. 2 slices of breadfruit, 2.5 grams of fiber. I'm sure when you thought of fiber in the past, you never thought of breadfruit. You probably thought of oatmeal or whole wheat bread or some other type of grain, quinoa, buckwheat, amaranth, something else, but certainly not breadfruit. Now you know that breadfruit has more fiber than all of these foods, and breadfruit also has protein and lots of other nutrients, but we're not even going there. But this is a clear example of a unique selling proposition, understanding how what you sell is superior to a lot of what is out there, making that contrast and informing your customers. So a compelling unique selling proposition must be assertable, but it must also be defensible, and I will explain. Now, I know some of you may be saying, but isn't a unique selling proposition the same as a value proposition? Not at all. A unique selling proposition situates your business in relation to its competitors. A value proposition focuses more on how your customers' lives are improved by working with your business. So that's the difference, okay? Assertable but defensible. A specific position that forces you to make a case against competing products. Example, we sell high quality, non-toxic products. This is an assertion that you're making. You're stating it as a fact, but you must be able to defend it because it has to be truthful. You have to be able to prove that your products are high quality and non-toxic, okay? The other one, focused on what your customers value. We made that point earlier. If your target customers do not truly care about your unique selling proposition, there isn't much that you are going to get from it. For example, there's a saying that we're going to sell ice. A good salesman sells ice to the Eskimos. I've always laughed and chuckled at that saying, you know, because in today's world, if you try to sell an Eskimo ice, your ice will melt before you make that sale. They're not going to buy it because you're trying to sell them something that they don't care about, they don't need, because they have it in abundance around them. So you need to ensure that whatever you're highlighting matches the needs of your customers. You're not trying to persuade them about something that they're not interested in and they do not care about. So you need to understand your customers. And of course, it must be more than a slogan. Slogans are catchy, they're nice. For example, my business slogan is food as medicine. And this is a popular slogan everybody knows. You know, the great physician Hippocrates, they call him the father of medicine. He actually spoke of let food be your medicine and let medicine be your food. And let food be thy medicine. And a lot of persons use it. But if you're going to use food as medicine as a slogan, it has to be clearly communicated, because a USP can be a slogan, but also it has to translate to other aspects of your business. It doesn't have to be unique. Food as medicine is not unique, okay? But the message you choose, you must ensure that you are living that slogan in every aspect of your business. For example, let me give you an example. Let's say, okay, my business name is Food as Medicine, but imagine I'm selling cakes at my store, and those cakes have white sugar, okay? They're made with refined, bleached wheat flour. This does not match my slogan or my business philosophy. But if I am selling plantain cake, which is gluten-free, made with agave or using banana as a sweetener, this is in keeping with my food as medicine theme. But it also distinguishes me from the person down the road who is still selling white bleached wheat flour cake with sugar, okay? So basically, you are showing that you're using organic ingredients, you are showing that you are using a sugar alternative, which is more natural, you are using a healthier flour with no gluten. So this is a clear depiction of your unique selling proposition and your slogan coming together and filtering down to other aspects of your business. Okay, let's move to the second slide. The next slide. Ask yourself the following questions. What is your mission? What products and services do you have? What makes your competitor better than you? What makes you better than your competition, I meant, okay? And it's not bashing another person who has a similar business to you, or it's not thinking so highly of yourself that you think you're better than another person, but it is looking at it from a business perspective and saying, how is my product superior? If your product is organic and your competitor's product is not organic, your product is superior, full stop, because it does not contain pesticides. In terms of the health message, it is a superior product. Let's move to the next slide. So let's talk about writing your unique selling proposition. Make a list of all potential differentiators of the brand you sell and get specific. Breakout products like an organic, vegan, mango or passion fruit dressing, which is a unique product, must use compelling marketing messages that are very precise. Remember at the start of the presentation, we spoke about the nutritional marketing movements. We spoke about nutritional information and statistics. We looked at fortified food and drinks. We looked at green and organic food, plant-based diets, and food as medicine. Remember those? Okay, so here is a product, organic vegan salad dressing. What is on the label, or what is in the advertisements? Vegan. That appeals to the plant-based movement. No preservatives. You know who this appeals to? This appeals to the food as medicine movement. They don't want preservatives in their food. People who are health conscious do not want their food embalmed like the dead. Then there's raw, okay? These are the green and organic movements. There's no hydrogenated oils, food as medicine. Persons want healthy fats. And there's no added sugars. Still back to food as medicine because persons want to reduce their sugar intake. So a simple product like a vegan salad, organic vegan salad dressing is targeting 4 out of the subsets of the persons. We're talking about the marketing movement groups. because so you're informing them straight away. A lot of persons know and accept that salads are healthy, but when you put a bunch of bacon and a bunch of cheese and a bunch of creamy and healthy dressing on top of it, you've ruined the salad. But at the same time, you don't want to eat dry, boring vegetables all the time. So a dressing like this appeals to even the regular non-vegan individual that just wants a little healthier salad dressing. They want to enjoy their salad, but they do not want to cheat, or they do not want to compromise their diet, okay? So the other point, research the competition. Don't ever underestimate your competition. Where are your competitors? Who are your competitors? What are their USPs? Look for gaps where you can potentially introduce your brand differently. What are they not doing? What can you do that they're not doing? Is there a group or a subset of persons that they are not catering to? Well, maybe you can cater to that group. So what you can do is look for those gaps and potentially introduce your brand differently. Products in the same category can be positioned in a wildly different manner. Example, which I said earlier, a traditional cake with white flour and refined cane sugar versus a breadfruit gluten-free cake sweetened with coconut sugar. This is different, but they're both cakes, but yours is unique. Yours is distinctively different, but yet it's the same because cake is cake. It's in the same category. Next slide. Okay, compare your most unique angles against your audience needs. Do you see any areas that you can appeal to that your competition has not? And I'm going to give you an example. In St. Lucia, we have a new ice cream place called Mr. Sweet, and he advertises his ice cream as vegan. They are vegan, and he's using local produce like breadfruit, passion fruit, mango, golden apple, and papaya to make ice cream, okay? So while the traditional ice cream companies are still making dairy ice creams with traditional flavors like chocolate, vanilla, strawberry yogurt, blueberry yogurt, you know, the usual, creme caramel, you know, that sort of thing, this company decided, you know what? Some people are lactose intolerant, some are vegan. We don't need to put milk in ice cream anyway. We have evolved. So we're just going to make all of our ice creams vegan so everybody can enjoy them. And you know what? There isn't enough, you know, ice cream. There aren't enough ice creams available with local flavors. And we live in a tropical island with an abundance of local fruits. So they decided to do something revolutionary and actually make breadfruit ice cream, which actually tastes good, you know, and papaya, and you don't get it anywhere else. So what they've done is that while everybody is appealing to the general traditional ice cream consumer, in the beginning, somebody said in their acronym that they love ice cream, you know, although they know it's not that, you know, necessarily good for them. So this is someone who can decide, hey, I can have guilt-free indulgence. I can now enjoy ice cream, which is less sweet. The ice creams are less sweet as well, and they use a lot of natural fruits to sweeten it. And the ice creams are also lactose-free, no dairy whatsoever. So this is a clear example of using a unique angle. And although you are selling a product which is not new, ice cream has been around for eons, but the way the brand is positioned, it is very unique, very creative, and very innovative, very different. So this is what you do. You look out there and you don't say, okay, so John has an ice cream shop down the road. Barbara has an ice cream shop down the road. So now Sam is going to open an ice cream shop and sell the same ice cream that John and Barbara is selling. No, Sam has to do something vastly different. Sam has to have a unique angle. What is John and Barbara not offering? What can I offer? Where are the gaps? Okay. The next point, compile the data. So now that you've looked at all of this, you've looked at the competition, you've looked at your business to see, okay, how can you position yourself differently? Take that information that you've learned and sift through it to single out your strongest USP. I always use my business as an example. When I was opening my health store, being a health conscious person, a health coach, a weight loss coach, I used to shop at health stores all the time. And I remember the products that I could not find. Couldn't find certain products. They were not available down here. could not find products for my clients either. And one of the things that were very lacking was medicinal herbs. There were lots of capsules, lots of tablets. And when I read the label, sometimes it contained very little of the herb, or it was not organic, or it contained gelatin, which vegans couldn't have, or it contained rice starch as a filler, which is, you know, an added ingredient, which is not good. And I just wanted herbs to make teas, decoctions, infusions, tinctures, juices, tonics. And so what I did, I said, you know what? I'm going to bring in herbs, pure organic medicinal herbs. And so the typical health shop had about 10 varieties. I decided to bring in 80 varieties. So many times persons come into the store and they tell me, you don't have tablets? You know, you don't. And I'm like, no, I don't have tablets. We specialize in actual dried organic herbs. So that was compiling the data, looking at what the other persons offer, and deciding there isn't a need for that. There are enough health stores selling tablets and capsules. There are persons looking for authentic herbs and natural organic products, and this is what I'm going to go for. So this is just an example, you know, in terms of compiling the data and singling it out and then developing your own strong USP. I'm also a vegan and very environmentally conscious, so I decided that I'm not going to use any plastic bags at my store. So it's paper. And I decided that I'm not going to use any plastics for products. So everything is in glass bottles. So this is in keeping with the food as medicine theme. It's in keeping with the business is also vegan. So everything in there is vegan. It's keeping with the plant-based theme. It's keeping with the sustainable theme. So this is how your USP is woven into every single aspect of your business. So then we have, think about viable ways to apply it across your business, which is exactly what I already alluded to, that if properly applied, a USP can be woven into every aspect of your business, from your brand name to your no single-use plastic policy, which is a no-no in my business, or an environmentally conscious brand, you know, and you reinforce it to your customers. So basically your unique selling proposition is embodied in every single aspect of your business. One of the other things that I decided to do with my business is, again, going to the health stores, looking at what's sold in St. Lucia and knowing about health products and how they can, skincare products and how they can affect your health. I realized that there were a lot of imported products. And we have those wonderful artisans down here making high quality, small batch, handcrafted products filled with love and, you know, wonderful ingredients and healthy herbs for the skin. But yet the stores were bringing in, you know, imported creams, imported deodorants, imported shampoos and conditioners. So I decided that every single skincare product in my store would be local, made in St. Lucia. I also have a few regional ones. I have Yaffine from St. Kitts. I have JD's Naturals from Dominica. So I don't mind a few regional and local, but I don't want anything past the Caribbean. So that was my conviction. I wanted to showcase what we make, and I wanted to show that we can make and use high quality products with no parabens, no sulfates, no aluminum, no endocrinal disruptors, no harmful ingredients. So this was another aspect of my unique selling proposition. And so with the video we watched about the Caribbean fruits, you now need to do the same for your products, whatever those products are, okay? So we've come to the end of our presentation, ladies, and we're a little over, well, we're almost at 8 o'clock, so the timing is very good. Just go to the next slide, Linnell. Okay, so the next slide is a quote by Daniel Webster, which says, when the tillage begins, other arts follows. The farmers, therefore, are the founders of civilization. Farmers are the most important because they grow the food. Now, let's just do a recap of the USP, Linnell. Let's go back to the first slide to make sure everyone understands all of the points under unique selling proposition. Then we're going to do a quick recap of everything, but let's start with the USP. Okay, so the USP is the marketing strategy that informs your customers of how your brand is superior to its competitors. Okay, and we spoke of differences: natural, for example, organic, chemical-free, paraben-free, sulfate-free, preservative-free, no artificial colors or flavorings. These are all propositions that you can use to show that your product is different. Then we looked at, go to the other slide. Right, and then we spoke about what a unique selling proposition should be. Oh, you had skipped one. Okay. Assertable but defensible, focused on what your customers value more than just a slogan, and it was broken down so you would understand each aspect of it. Okay, let's move to the next one. And then, of course, we went through the questions that you need to ask yourself when developing your proposition. What is your mission? What products and services do you provide? What makes you better than your competitor? And we went into great detail, speaking about how you could differentiate, look at what your competitor offers and see how am I different, how am I better? Next slide. We're just doing a quick recap of the unique selling proposition. And these are the steps to write your unique selling proposition. Please take note of those things. Remember, we are having an assessment next week for next week's session, okay? So you have make a list of all potential differentiators of the brand you sell and get specific. That's point 1. 2, research the competition. Next slide. Compare your most unique angles against your audience's needs, compile the data, and think of viable ways to apply it across your business. So this is how you do your unique selling proposition. And you will realize that you could go back to the very top, Linnell. You will realize that a unique selling proposition is an important part of nutritional marketing, because at the end of the day, you are marketing, you are indirectly making a sales pitch and you want it to result in sales. So you have to market based on something, based on a proposition, based on what makes you different, what makes you distinguishable. When I chose food as medicine as my slogan, there was a reason for it, okay? So that it is important to understand how the unique selling proposition ties into the nutritional marketing of your business. So we're going back to the first slide. And we spoke about health consciousness. We spoke about consumers taking a more proactive role in their personal well-being, which is a fact. And there's an increasing rate of non-communicable diseases. So consumers are seeking foods with health benefits. Let's continue. We're just doing a quick recap, ladies. And we spoke about the marketing movements, nutritional marketing movements to consider: fortified food and drinks, nutritional information and statistics, green and organic food, plant-based diets, and food as medicine, okay? So these are the categories of movements, quote unquote trends, and this is what you are catering to. This is what the people you are trying to reach. Let's move down. We went into the food health. We could go to this one. Yes, the next one. We also looked at the food health connection, and that now when you think of food, you think of health. And when you think of health, you think of food, and food can be medicine. And we did examine the fact that creating and applying healthy eating messages is good for health and healthy for business. So you have to marry the two. You must include nutrition. We have to move away from just marketing a product, a food item, and bringing in the nutritional aspect. Let's continue. And then, of course, we went into the nutritional marketing strategies for the business, which is into 3 categories: messaging on food packaging or labeling, health campaigns, diet and nutrition education. And then we broke those down. Go to the next slide, Linnell. Right, so we explained this further, looking at 1, food labeling, messaging on food packaging. Continue, Linnell. Go straight to blogging. So after labeling, we looked at blogging. And after blogging, we looked at, you remember, social media. And after social media, what did we look at? Influencer marketing. And after influencer marketing, we dealt with websites. That is correct, okay? And remember, these we're recapping because they will come up in your assessment. All right, so, and then we also spoke about health claims. Just go back up for me, please, Linnell. We spoke about the different types of health claims on the that is specific to labeling. We spoke of general health claims. And we also spoke of functional claims, and we spoke of disease risk reduction or therapeutic claims. So learn them, understand them, because you may have to explain them during your assessment, okay? And we did make the point that all claims must be supported by science, and our information must be factual and science based on science, in science. Okay, let's go all the way back to the bottom. Great. And that was it. We just did unique selling proposition. Pull up the assignment for me, please, Linel. So you're going to have an assignment next week. There will not be any actual teaching next week. It's going to be the presentation of your assignment. And also we're going to do a revision, a recap. And of course, last but not least, we're going to do the assessment. So the nutritional marketing assignment, you could put it up, Linel. Okay, so the assignment is that, somebody said something? Okay, so the assignment is that you need to choose a product or produce sold by your businesses. You guys will have to collaborate. So Linel is going to break you into groups of 4. Since it's a small group, we have 21 persons here. You can do groups of 4 or 5. I said 5 or 6 because the last group was bigger. So you can do 4 or 5, and then you will choose a product sold by your businesses. So you decide among yourselves which one you want to go for. It can be plantain cake. It can be sugar-free juices. It can be sweet potato granola, banana flour, cassava bread, herbs like thyme, oregano, basil, rosemary, passion fruit, sweet potato, carrot, cabbage, cucumber, eggplant, Christophine, you choose, yeah? Then you're going to advertise, or you're going to pitch your product using nutritional marketing as outlined in the presentation. Ensure that your unique selling proposition is highlighted. If you're selecting a video, you can do it through any medium, TikTok, Instagram Reel, you could do a video, you can do a written, a write-up for social media. You choose your medium, okay? And if you're gonna be doing a video, that wouldn't be the date for them. Linel, their next session, what is the date of their next session, Linel?
On Wednesday.
Okay, so your next session is on Wednesday. So you want to submit it. If you're going to be doing a video, you want to submit it by Monday, okay? Because she would need to have it to play it because she's controlling the video and the audio, okay? So basically each group will be given 5 to 10 minutes to make their presentation at the next class, which is not on the 14th, sorry, that is St. Vincent's information. It's next week, Wednesday, okay? So this is going to be your assignment. So you now going to apply. I want to see that unique selling proposition. I want to see, and you can choose any method, okay? You can decide that you want to do a blog, a mock blog, or you want to design a label on a product, or you want to do a post for a website, or you want to pretend that another member is an influencer and do a short skit where the influencer is talking about how the product helps them. So you choose what medium you choose your medium, and you choose your strategy. Remember, your strategies are labeling, blogging, social media, influencer marketing, and website. So you have to choose one of these to deliver your nutritional content, okay? So this will be your assignment, and we're going to do the assignment, we're going to do a quick recap, and then we're going to do the assessment, which of course you will get on Google Forms. So you're going to fill it in real time, and then we're going to give you feedback on the results, okay? So that is it for me, ladies. It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed being here. I appreciated your interaction and your contribution, and I hope that this really benefited you and you were able to learn something. Just before we end, I just want to know any quick questions. We've already gone over our time, but just quickly, if anybody wants to ask anything, now is the time to do so.
Please review those. You said blogging, social media,
labeling, social media, influencer, and websites.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and let me just recap the movements as well, because that would be helpful. The marketing movements in terms of what people are looking for through your nutritional marketing is nutritional information and statistics. They want the nutrition information about the food. They want fortified food and drinks. They want to know if your food has probiotics. They want to know how much protein it has. They want to know if it has fiber, you know. green and organic food. They want to know, is it organic, plant-based diets? Is it vegan? Is it gluten-free? And there's also food as medicine. Does it have preservatives? Does it have artificial flavors? Does it have hydrogenated fats? Does it have excess refined sugars? So you have your movements and you have your strategies, yeah? And then you will choose how you want to deliver it, okay? Any other questions? Any other clarification?
Believe you me, tonight you went through with Concord speed. Would it be possible for us to get even something of this? It was excellent, but boy, you were like Concord.
But I'm sure you remembered enough of it, yeah? It was, I mean, the basic points. So, I mean, what we're gonna do, don't worry, at the next class, we'll do a recap and you can ask questions in the group. In terms of nutritional marketing, if I were to ask you right now, what is your understanding of nutritional marketing? You know, we have a limited amount of time, but tell me, if you had to tell me, do you think you're in a better position now in terms of understanding based on when you entered the session, you know, of how it works and what it entails?
Of course, there was some clarification. Definitely, I think I would be able to, because I have an idea of what you were saying, definitely. But some of the terminology, definitely, I'm not too sure. But definitely,
you can ask for clarification, no worries. And there is a group, so Linel, they can ask in the group as well, and I will answer. If you want clarification about anything, especially as it relates to completing the assignment, just shoot a question in the group and I will be more than happy to respond to you. Okay, so I'll clarify everything for you.
Thank you.
So it's a simple pitch. Now I want Linel, there's one last video that we have on breadfruits, which I would like Linel to play. And remember, videos like this are also an example of what you can use for your pitch, okay? So you can't just do a video on thyme or on basil or on breadfruit or on yam or whatever you grow. So please understand that you can do that as well. And some of those videos are very easily created using apps where you just put words, you know, source of, it helps with this condition, that sort of thing. So Lina, just play the breadfruit video for them for me, please. Just a quick example. Thank you, Linel. So ladies, this is another example of nutritional marketing, and videos like this can be posted onto your social media pages or your websites. You don't have to create everything from scratch. There is already a wealth of information out there that you can use for your product and your business. You don't have to necessarily create a video, but you can also be original and create your own. For the purpose of the assignment, you have to create your own. But these types of videos are readily available on the internet, and you can use them on your page. You can put them if you sell sweet potatoes, you can put the breadfruit if you sell breadfruit, so that persons can be enlightened regarding the benefits of this food. So this is pretty much quite simply what nutritional marketing is about. It's educating persons about the nutritional benefits of food so that you can create an interest in those individuals so that they will now go and purchase your food items, because now they are aware of how it can help them. So if a person is looking for protein, or they're looking for fiber, or they're looking for a food that is low in carbohydrates or high in beta carotene, they know, okay, I can buy Barbara's breadfruits, you know, or I can buy those passion fruits and make juice for my family, or I can make a passion fruit cheesecake because I now know more about what passion fruit can do for me. So this is quite simply what it's about. And it is, whether it's for produce or it is for a food product, the same rule applies, okay? And of course, if you grow organic food, you want to highlight that information, organic, okay? If you know that sort of thing. If your products don't have any stabilizers, no preservatives, you want to bring that point across as well. Is there anything else that you guys need clarification on so we can end the session? We have passed the time by 15 minutes.
Good night, good night. I would just like to say it was very informative. I do believe that we could definitely have done with another session, because for me personally, whatever product you have, you can have the greatest idea, but if you don't know how to market your product, if you don't even know, a lot of people probably don't even know what GMO means and all those kind of things. So for you to be able to market your product and make the best profit that you can, for the Western world and people, others that you may be selling to, these words, these important words, to know what they mean, etc., is very important. And of course, to me, we're living on a gold mine. We just don't know it. Buy local, eat local.
I agree with you 100%. We could definitely make it longer, maybe for the next group. And you're absolutely right. Sometimes people assume because you sell a product or you grow a particular food, it means that you're an expert on it. Not necessarily. And so the information and the enlightenment is important. So I totally agree with you. Anyone else would like to share? Any clarification? Is the assignment clear? Linnell is going to split you up into groups and that sort of thing. Does anybody have any other questions? You want clarification on anything? Is there anything you're not clear on for next week?
I have a question / observation. Listening to the entire presentation, I could not help but reflect on the class that we had before this, which was on financial literacy. And just as there are the common marketing movements in nutritional marketing, I could recall the facilitator for financial literacy talking about like the groups that influences, how should I put it? The group that basically the groups that influences your business, or how what you sell and how you sell. And one of the most influential groups that she spoke about, one of the most influential factors that she spoke about was the price of goods. So I have been trying to marry that information with this information, because in reality, one of the things that jumps out at me is that our reality is that this nutrition, these movements that you have mentioned, they represent the minority of our populations. So I'm having a little difficulty marrying that with business and prosperity.
Thanks for your contribution. I beg to differ, but I do understand where you're coming from, because when we spoke of the 3 types of consumers, we looked at experts, which are like professionals, we looked at sports persons, we looked at the average health conscious individual, which is an everyday professional. We also looked at the beginner, who is just someone who's interested in healthy food. And green bananas are healthy foods. They're grown vastly in the Caribbean. That's an example. And they're very inexpensive, okay? So something healthy that falls under a movement doesn't necessarily mean that it is expensive, okay? So look at Rastafarians, for example. They're extremely health conscious and vegan, and they eat a lot of local food. You do not have to buy imported quinoa or buckwheat for you to be a health conscious individual. You can be health conscious by simply not wanting your food to contain preservatives or not wanting your food to contain food coloring. That does not mean that food without preservatives or food coloring is necessarily highly priced. It is just less processed. It is straight from the farm to the table. We look at like ITAL food, like someone is saying in the chat, okay? Pigeon peas that we grow and pick locally. We look at one pots made with breadfruits and vegetables like zephina and locally grown cabbages and so on. I'm just giving, I'm giving an example,
yes,
because you were speaking about the minority, but I'm showing you how health is a concern of the majority, not just the minority.
But I wanted to highlight that, yes, I agree with the points that you're making with regards to the raw foods, but what my concern really is the byproducts, the agro-processing, the byproducts of these things, because yes, quite naturally, the foods that are grown naturally, they would support this. But like I said, my concern would be the byproducts.
Okay, let's talk byproducts. If you're making a juice and you're putting, according to the labeling information you learned, right, in the class, if your juice has 25% less sugar, does that make that juice more expensive? And it falls under the category of food as medicine, which is the consumer looking for something with less salt and less sugar. We spoke about labeling as in reduced, reduced meaning 25% less, low, and that sort of thing. All of those fall under nutritional marketing and cater to everyone. Persons are now looking for juices with a lot less sugar. Most of our locally made boxed and bottled juices have 25 to 30, sometimes 40 grams of sugar. So as a food processor, simply making and bottling a local passion fruit juice with less sugar than those, juice box producers, factory juice box producers, gives you a competitive advantage, and that would be your unique selling proposition, that your juice has 25% less sugar. But it also goes on your label, which goes into the nutritional aspect of labeling, and you're also using an inexpensive local seasonal fruit. So again, I think many times persons have a misconception that once it relates to health or nutrition, it is a minority of maybe, people who like to lift weight, or vegans, or, these health enthusiasts that just are on this, bandwagon of wanting healthy foods. But the truth is, most persons would like to eat healthier. Most persons would like to not have diabetes or not have high blood pressure or consume less salt if they can get it in a healthy, easily available form. When we look at some of the products that are produced, juices don't need to have 30% of sugar to taste good, but that's just what we're used to. Okay, so we make it that way. Something does not have to have 300 grams of sodium to be tasty, but again, it's what we're used to. So it is not necessarily, I get where you're coming from. There are I believe that there are niches within the nutritional marketing and health movement, and we did look at some of the niches, but one of the main points that was brought across in the presentation is that it's for everyone, that there must be something that you sell that appeals to someone, but you can also do specialized products, and there is a market for that as well, but it's not all about the minority or the high-end stuff. Nutritional marketing is really for everyone. Imagine we think about vitamin C. This is a typical example, and we always think citrus because that's what we're taught. Oranges, grapefruits, limes, lemons, citrus. Sometimes citrus is not as abundant in season, but then there's a simple culinary herb, thyme, which all of us know of, common thyme. It is very inexpensive and easy to grow. Thyme is one of the highest levels of vitamin C known in any plant. Okay, but many persons don't know that. So if a family, cannot get oranges at a certain time of year, or they find it's expensive, maybe it's not in season and it's a bit pricey, just making tea out of common thyme can up your vitamin C levels, and common thyme is not expensive. So this is just to again expound on, or rather to elucidate on the perception that it is niche and expensive, or it is for people who have a certain budget. Absolutely not. But there are niche markets in between, which I understand and appreciate. Any other questions? Thank you, Linez. Anyone else? Go ahead, guys. Now is the time if you want to ask anything. That was a good point that she made earlier, and I was happy to expound on it. Anything else that you want to raise? You know, because the financial literacy, I'm happy you brought that in as well, because again, sometimes we think of cost, but I'll tell you something that I've learned being in the health and food business. Yeah. A lot of persons, yes, that is a good point. Sorry, before I move to that, gluten-free. Exactly. Rice has always been around, but now people are labeling it gluten-free because a lot more persons are looking for gluten-free products. So they're bringing that information forward and making it more popular so persons would know that it's gluten-free. But another thing that I've noticed being in the health and food and nutrition business, many times we say, this is expensive and people are not going to buy. The same persons who we think will not buy a health product for a certain amount of money will spend double that on, you know, a dish they want to eat or a hairstyle or that sort of thing, or maybe an item of clothing or a shoe or a bag. People spend money on what's priority to them. But you also have to, yes, but you also have to educate them and let them know how it can improve their life or help them. Sometimes a person doesn't know they need something unless they are educated about that particular thing. And they're like, I actually need that. I have that issue and I want it. Okay. So just by putting rice is gluten-free, just the gluten-free information, like Linez is saying, makes your rice more attractive than ever before. Okay. And this is exactly what nutritional marketing is about. It's also simply revitalizing already existing products to inform persons of the nutritional value of these products, of what the product does not contain that they do not need, and what the product contains that they need, so that they can feel more comfortable about purchasing it or see it as an option that suits, you know, that meets their need. So sometimes I look at businesses and they underprice and undervalue their product because they have the perception people will think it's too expensive and they'll not want to buy it. And yet all of the imported dragon fruits and all of the expensive imported grapes and all of the super expensive strawberries and all the other expensive imported stuff is selling in the supermarket, selling out. Let's not even talk about imported processed food, the ones in the freezer. It's selling out as well. So, I mean, I'm looking at imported vegan ice creams here for 40 EC a tub, and we have local ice creams the same size for $15 a tub and $30 and $20 a tub. Now, this may be double the price of a regular dairy ice cream, but for someone who literally does not want dairy or wants to eat a little healthier, this is half the price of an imported non-dairy ice cream. So a lot of it has to do with, again, you believing in your brand, you positioning your brand, you promoting your brand, and you educating people about the value of what they're getting. If you don't educate them on the value of what they're getting, they will not buy it. And it's not necessarily because they cannot afford it or they don't want to make the sacrifice to buy it. It's because they're not knowledgeable about what the products can do for them and how it can meet their needs. Anyone else? We have some nice activity going on in the chat. Does anybody else want to make a contribution before we end?
Miss Alex, good night.
Yes, yes, good
You
night.
stated that we are doing an assessment next week, Wednesday. Can you elaborate just a little bit?
Can we say that again, please? I wasn't hearing you clearly. What did you say?
You said that we are doing an analysis. That's what you said,
going
or
to be doing
an
an assessment. It's like a little test. It's like a little test. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Nothing to be concerned about. You know, it's not like a grade is going towards anything. It is just to kind of, you know, to make sure that you understand. We're going to go over the test, make sure everybody understands. So at the end of the session next week, all of the catchphrases, all the terminologies, all the information is kind of solidified in your brain. That's the purpose of it. You are most welcome. Anyone else before we end, ladies?
In what form do we use the breadfruit? Okay, for example, I'm going to make some ice cream from mango, passion fruit, papaya, and soursop, etc. what do we do with the breadfruit in order to, as part of the combination?
So, like, you mean what kind of food products you can make from it?
No. We are using, you said that that breadfruit is also used to make the ice cream in St. Lucia.
Yeah, there is a company in St. Lucia, yes, that makes breadfruit ice cream. Yes, that is correct.
So in what form? What did they do with it?
Well, I have no idea. I don't know how they make it. I will have to ask them. I was just using it as an example that they're using local fruits. You know, they're using breadfruit, papaya, golden apple, but I'm not really sure how they, how they break down the breadfruit to make the ice cream. I'm assuming that they probably use the riper variety. That's just based on this is just my own assumption, and that they most likely cook it first and probably then puree it into some type of a paste, like you would puree a fruit, to flavor ice cream. And I am presuming that they use that puree along with the plant milk and the other ingredients to make it into an ice cream. I'm assuming that's probably the method. Who knows? If you check online, you may probably even get a recipe for breadfruit ice cream. Anyone else? Okay, guys. Okay, Linel, I think that is it for me tonight. I know it's been a long night. Thank you again for, coming out tonight and joining the session. I really enjoyed doing it with you. I do agree that we could probably, have a third session, but I really appreciate your feedback. I appreciate your comments, and I'm looking forward to next week's presentation. Actually, very excited to see what you are going to come up with among yourselves in the groups. So ladies, have a wonderful night. Have a lovely night. Get some good rest and be safe. And that's it for me. Thank you, Linel. Thanks for going through the slides and everything. Thank you so much. Bye, ladies.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And I will form the groups tonight as well, so to make it a lot easier for you guys. So thank you.
And guys, if you have any questions, you can ask me in the group. If you're not sure of anything,
yes.
I'm in the group as well, so I'll respond.
Yes.
Where would
So
we get
you all
information
on Wednesday?
Where would we get the information on the groups, Linel? In the chat, via email?
Yes, in the chat.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so have a good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good night.